really is hard to watch a man in his 60s go on a show and proclaim that he would get physical or swing on LeBron James, had LeBron James put his hands on him. Like, LeBron never mentioned any kind of physicality or being violent. If you're making $20 million a year, why are you talking about violence unless you're a professional boxer? For the life of me, I can't understand.
The Stephen A. LeBron James drama has reached new heights. We all saw the video a couple of weeks ago of LeBron confronting Stephen A. about taking things too personal with his son, Bronny. Well, Wednesday, LeBron joined the Pat McAfee show on ESPN and joked that Stephen A. has been on a Taylor Swift run addressing that confrontation. Now, Stephen A. Smith has clapped back on his own show, calling LeBron James a liar, saying that he would have swung on him if things got physical. Rodney, you're both a father and a member of the media. Whose side are you on this topic?
Oh man, I'm on Bronny's side. I'm not necessarily on LeBron's side. I'm not on Stephen A. Smith's side. I think that in these times, and this is why like the explosion of the media space kind of bothers me at times, because everyone is vying for attention and eyeballs. Not to say that LeBron is in this instance, but LeBron knows that wherever his presence is generates eyeballs. So there is a part of him doing this that is to create a level of frenzy and a level of conversation, right? And then Stephen A. Smith, this at this point is his bread and butter. I don't remember the last like sports take that Stephen A. Smith has had that was relevant. Everything has been about everything outside of sports and sports media coverage. And Stephen A. Smith was a tried and true journalist. That is how we knew his name. That is how he rose to fame. And I feel like he has gotten so far away from that that it really is hard to watch a man in his 60s go on a show podcast and proclaim that he would get physical or swing on LeBron James, had LeBron James put his hands on him. Like, nobody said anything. Like, nobody, LeBron never mentioned any kind of physicality or being violent.
Right.
Like, so why are you as a 60-year-old man going there? To me, it doesn't make sense. He's clearly been bitten by the bug of the internet, and he feels like he has to respond to trolls on the internet, and they put him in position to say something absolutely crazy. If you're making $20 million a year, why are you talking about violence unless you're a professional boxer? For the life of me, I can't understand. I can't.
I will say though that we have talked about Bronny on our platform when he first got drafted. I did feel a little bit of a way. I was like, okay, this is nepotism. You kind of, like woo me back in. Like, okay, girl, we see this all the time. Nobody says anything when it's anybody else, right? And so I did kind of understand that. But I will say that Stephen A. Smith, I didn't feel like Stephen A. said anything that was just completely disrespectful, right? He didn't pull a Kwame Brown on Bronny, right? He called out LeBron because he felt like maybe LeBron did not put his kid in the best position, throwing him out there, which unfortunately that's what you have to do in the NBA. Like, he can't just sit. He has to eventually
In life.
He has to sink or swim. And obviously that is what Bronny wanted to do as well, because that is what ended up happening. However, I will say that the biggest thing for me was LeBron saying, I'm protecting my household and I'm protecting players just across the board. And it seemed like, I don't know if I'm sure Bronny didn't come to him and say like, okay, look, Dad, like this is becoming too much. But I'm sure your kid. Like, I feel like LeBron felt compelled to say something to Stephen A. maybe because it was affecting his kid and he saw it. You know what I mean? And I really feel bad, and I'm glad that you said that that's the person whose side that you're on is Bronny. LeBron has made a name for himself, as well as Stephen A. Smith. Bronny is still in the mix trying to figure everything out, and he's under a huge a magnifying glass. And I just feel bad for him. I really do feel bad for the kid.
Yeah, Bronny had one of his best weeks of basketball ever.
Yes.
He dropped 39 points this week, and in the NBA game, he dropped 17 points this week. And the only thing that we're really talking about is the back and forth between his father and Stephen A. Smith. I think that's unfair to Bronny. So you mean to tell me that the conversation was that I didn't deserve to be in this position, and now that I'm here and I'm not just like existing in the space, but I'm thriving in the space, I can't even get recognition for when I'm doing good because the conversation is revolving around something that I had really no control over at all? I think that's incredibly unfair. And so I feel like Bronny, because we don't I don't know what Bronny's voice even sounds
Yeah.
like. I don't know what his voice sounds like. We never hear Bronny talk. Do you know what he sounds like? If he came out with a high pitched voice, I'd be like, oh, that's crazy. I didn't know that he sounded like that. And I think at this point, at 19 years old, right? He's gonna be an NBA basketball player because he's an NBA talent. I
Mhm.
told you that a long time ago. It took him a little while to get his legs underneath him, but he's gonna continue to grow and evolve, and he's gonna be somebody that teams actually covet. And I think that at 19 years old, because we do task other 19-year-olds with this, I think it's time for him to find his own voice in the media landscape and for him to tell
Mhm.
people how he actually feels, not via a tweet, not via an Instagram post or a story. I need Bronny to do some sort of interview, some sort of
Mhm.
conversation so that we can actually understand how he feels and what he thinks. Because there is something, to be said about a father protecting his child. But I got a youngin and it's 19 in college, and I got one that just turned 17 this past Tuesday. Hey man, I need you to have a voice. I need you to know how to speak up for yourself. And as a man, as a black man, you better make sure you know what your own voice sounds like. And the one thing that has always been said is if you do not find a voice, someone will assign you one, right?
Right.
And so until he figures out who he is and how he wants to navigate these conversations, then it's gonna look like his dad is fighting his battles. And as a grown man, no man should want their daddy to be fighting their battles for them. Even if my father is LeBron James, speak up on my behalf, but let me establish the culture of how I feel first before you
Right.
react.
And I think that was one of the things that we actually talked about after Bronny was drafted to the Lakers. It was like, is that going to, I know that Bron and Rich Paul are protecting him, but is that going to end up hurting him more than anything? Because we joke about it like, okay, him getting playing time is because LeBron, like, I'm sure it's because he cleared it or whatever. Him being pulled up from the G League to play in maybe a bad situation with the back to back, that was all because of LeBron. And like you just mentioned, he does not have a voice. And so I feel like maybe it would have been better if he went to another team where like, I don't know. Do you feel like maybe the scrutiny would not have been as bad if he was able to make his own way on another team where his dad is not right there?
Maybe, maybe not.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And I've always maintained that Bronny is an NBA quality player. He just dealt with a very severe health risk or health injury last year to his heart. And, that cut his entire collegiate season short.
We want to hear from you down in the comments. What do you make of the Stephen A. Smith and LeBron James beef? Who is wrong in this situation? Drop down in the comments.